Hi everybody, thanks for watching another video. I'm in our heifer barn here today. Just wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update on how the bedding change is working out so far. It's been about 10 days here since we changed all the bedding out. I think we're going to need some more time to really evaluate it, give it maybe a better evaluation, I guess. Like I'd mentioned at the end of the video here on Wednesday, the cows are definitely preferring the sand. We removed the bedding out of the first head-to-heads the next morning. Those stalls were all filled with cows, and then a couple days later we replaced the other set of head-to-heads free stalls, and then the following morning there was almost no cows laying in that last single row of manure solids deep bedding stalls. So that tells me a lot. Seems like the cows were definitely preferring the sand, and that was kind of to be expected, I guess. I would have been surprised if it would have been the other way around. I can show you the stalls here quick. So we haven't came back and put bedding in here yet. It does look like we need to do that here soon. See the cows are laying in the stalls here. It looks like they're comfortable. There was a few questions that I wanted to answer also for you guys. First one was one of you had asked, and I don't think I really talked about it in the video, but I've talked about it in prior videos, what issues I see with putting sand in these stalls, having sand in the manure when we're cleaning the stalls. So we bed all of our milking cows with sand, so we do have a lot of experience with sand. We've done that since the beginning, so we've been doing that for 12-13 years. Sand creates a lot of challenges for equipment. It's hard on things, hard on pumps. We're set up for sand in our milking barn, so we have augers that take the sand from the pens to our manure building, and then we have sand separation equipment over there. It's all set up for sand. When that system wasn't working good the first few years that we were here, we would plug our manure line up from our manure system to our manure storage on a regular basis, probably multiple times a year. And that was with separating some of the sand, but a lot of it wasn't being separated at that time just because the system wasn't working like it should. So I have a feeling so right now the way we're handling the manure in this far out dry cow pen is we're coming in with a bucket, we're scooping it, taking it outside. We have a storage area. I can show you that here at the end of the video. And then from there we take it to our milking cow barns, and it goes into our manure system there, and then we are separating the sand out of this manure, and then it's going to the manure storage like it normally would. It's a little bit extra work, but I think for what we're going to gain in comfort for the cows, I think it'll be worth it. I think if we were to just push this manure into the pit here in this heifer barn, it's quite a long pit, and we don't have a lot of agitation in that pit because we don't really need it without sand in this pit, and we're not really set up to put a bunch of agitators in there anyways. I don't think that would work very well. But that pit would get filled with sand. We'd have to come in and either get bigger agitators on tractor PTO and agitate it that way, or we'd have to come in and scoop it out with an excavator or something like that. We'd also more than likely plug our manure line up. The manure from this barn goes to the manure building in our milking cow barns. It's probably a 300-foot, 8-inch line that goes underneath two barns. It's too long of a line. We could probably jet it from two sides and clean it out, but I really don't want to plug that line. If we plug it underneath the barn and we can't get it jetted out, then we have a pretty big problem on our hands. So it's not really something I even want to try to see if we can make that work. I think it's just going to be easier to dump this manure outside, take it to the take it to our milking cow barns, and then run it through our manure separators. We'll see how it goes in the winter. That's going to cause a little bit of an extra challenge, but It's handling the manure in this barn is a little bit more of a challenge in the winter anyways, because this barn is not insulated. So if we have really cold temperatures, the manure alleys do freeze up. So it's a challenge whether it's got sand in the manure or not. The other question was about the mats that we installed. So these mats are specifically made to install underneath sand. So you want to, or dried manure solids also. The reason behind the mats is that in theory you're gonna lose less sand coming out of your beds, because the cows won't kick as much out, because when they're trying to dig in the beds, they can only dig down to the mats, which are about 3 to 4 inches underneath the sand, whereas the rest of the beds are 6 inches deep of sand. The mats probably are maybe a little less comfortable, but if we can save them from kicking all that sand out the back, that could make things a little bit easier for us handling the manure in this barn. So far, I think it's hard to tell if they're kicking out less sand or not. We're gonna have to give it at least a month, I think. I think I'll show you what we're doing with that manure here quick, and then we'll probably end this video. If you guys have more questions, yeah, definitely don't hesitate to ask them below in the comments, and I'll try to answer them if I can. So on the far side of the feed alley there, that's that far up dry cow pen. So we take the buckets, scoop that manure up, and then we take it outside of the building here. We dump it here. See, there's some manure here, sand and manure, and then we scoop it up from here with our payloader and take it to our milking cow barns. So we do that also if there's a lot of straw in the manure. We'll dump that out there also, so we don't get it in the pumps. Or if the manure is really thick and we can't get it mixed into the pit here, we'll take it out there also. Or really frozen. So in the middle of summer, if we get a really warm stretch of weather, this bedding can get, or these alleys can get pretty dry on some of these pens. And in the winter time, if we have a stretch of really cold weather, it can be frozen to the point where it can be in chunks, and we don't want to put that in this pit because then it'll get stuck in the pumps. We found that out a couple times. But yeah, that'll be the end of this video. But thanks for watching, and hopefully we'll see you next week.